Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Raptor X here with Good Clean Gaming RX, and today we are back once again in Star Citizen. The latest update 4.1.1 has released, and with it we've gotten a series of different training missions. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first few of those today. So we'll go ahead and pull up the mobiGlas here and take a look at those. So these are under the Mercenary tab. And I've already done some of these, but they are replayable. So these are under the Combat Gauntlet, under Gilly's Flight School. Scenario 1 will be your first one. And so the Gauntlet scenarios are single targets, multiples, target priority, target stealth, missiles and countermeasures, multi-crew targets, corvette with escorts, and capital ship encounters. We'll probably only be looking at like the first 3 or 4 today, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8. 6 is soloable, 7 kind of, but it's much better with multiple people. And then 8, you'll definitely need friends to do that one, so we'll have to do those at a point where we can get some buddies on to do those. I'm going to go ahead and we'll accept this one for our single target. We'll track it. And we're going to go ahead and we will get out of here. Now, things have been particularly busy around here lately, and so we have a bit of a hangar departure queue. Hopefully this shouldn't last any longer than the 100 seconds or so that it is mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and we'll take a look around at the rest of the missions that we have on offer here. So with 4.1.1 we have 2 new priority missions. Invictus Launch Week is running currently, so you have a 50,000 mission for actually visiting ArcCorp and taking a look at this new Idris Experience tour. You'll have the like a guidance to the festivities, and they'll give you 10 of these Mercenary Guild script, which are physical currency, which you can use over here at Wicklow, and you can use those to redeem for favors from him, which can then be used for getting new ships in the game. You also have the Hunt the Polaris, which is a new system-wide mission, which is, there we go, which is for hunting down and capturing or killing a Polaris. RSI Polaris? Yep. Turn this sound down a little bit. There we go. Which has been captured by, can't remember if it's the Nine Tails or the Headhunters. Captured by, or Frontier Fighters, something like that. Anyway, has been captured and is being paraded around the system. And it's our job to go and capture them or kill them before they do something terrible with it. So I've yet to do that. I'm actually probably going to be looking at doing that tonight with the org on my second channel, Raptor X Games. There'll be a link in the description down below. Really been focusing on doing a lot of gameplay over there in Vintage Story. So that's where I've been. That's where I've been. That's why I haven't been doing nearly as many of these Star Citizen videos and videos in general.
Welcome, Rook.
On my main channel.
Started in a moment.
So this one's relatively easy. I'm going to swap to full weapons and put the rest of my pips into shields.
Like you got inbound. Weapons free.
Okay.
Bogey, there we go. Just roll around to face him. There we go. And they're just gonna send a very easy ship at this point. This is a Drake cutter. And there we go. They've got
Cleared that wave.
3 waves, each with a single ship. You'll have a Drake cutter for the first one. I believe the second one is a 300i. Oh no, there we go. So this one is a Pisces. Again, a very easy ship to kill. Couple of shots with your ship weapons should just about do it. There we go.
All clear. Stand by for the next wave. It's gonna be even tougher.
Let's go ahead and eliminate that. There we go. And then we should be seeing a prospector. And these ones are not really any harder to kill, but they do take a lot of bullets because they're quite tanky. They've added a lot of hull health to the prospectors in recent patches, trying to protect all the players who go out mining unaware. Not that it does a whole lot against, concerted effort, and
You pulled it off. Another lesson learned. Hit the showers. Celebrate. And I'll see you when you're ready for the next one.
medium or heavy fighter, still eliminate them pretty quickly. But that's our medium, or our first combat gauntlet. So we can go ahead and accept the second one now. If this is the first time you'll do these, they unlock one at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll go down to mercenary, and we're going to find these. Oh, goody. These are unlocked now as well. So we'll find these combat scenario number 2. Somewhere in here. 1, 3, 6, 4, 2. There we go. For some reason they don't all stack up nicely. This one is going to be against multiple targets. So go ahead and track this one, and this one's going to be at the weapon site over Baghdad. Make sure we avoid the asteroid there. Go ahead and jump to the next one. Now these first 2 or 3 at least, probably 4 as well, are definitely doable with a starter ship. You will need to have a little bit of experience to really be able to do them well. If you're just learning and just starting, probably just stick to the first 2 missions or so. At least until you've got the hang of combat and tracking your targets and all that kind of thing. If you have a heavier ship, or a heavier combat ship, a medium fighter or something like that, you shouldn't have any problem taking these down, even if you do take a little bit of damage from the NPCs. There we go. This one's just got a couple of lights. Generally, you know, a couple of Mustangs like this, or an arrow. There we go, got you now.
Congrats on completing another
Alright.
course. You impressed the other pilots out there today. I'll see you when you're ready to continue your training.
So that's 2 waves. You'll get the script and you'll get the monetary reward from that. Let's go ahead and we'll find number 3. There's 2 again. There we go, number 3. Alright, so this one is over Ariel. And we're going to be taking out multiple targets here. This one's actually worth 49,000, so if you're just reaching the point where you're trying to get some combat practice in and rank up both in rep and in money, this one's actually not bad for being able to make some money relatively quickly. $53,000 or even 49,000. It's relatively quick. You can knock over a couple of these in a few minutes, and you know, make some decent money from doing that if you're just starting out.
Start the lesson. Stand by.
Swap over to SCM mode here.
Hostiles inbound. Light them up.
Alright, let's go ahead and find our bogeys. There we go. This one's a Hornet, so it'll be a good idea to take them out. They come stock with size 3s. Just 2 of them, thankfully. There we go.
All targets neutralized. Catch your breath. The next one is on its way.
And there we go, wave 2. And this one will be made up of multiple targets, so you're basically going to scan through and determine which one is more dangerous. In this case, it's definitely the Hornet. But be aware that you might very well be taking fire. There we go, from the 2 prospectors that have walked in with it, so probably better to focus down the Hornet. Take that one out first. Eliminates the main threat. The prospectors have only got size 1 laser repeaters, so you can tank a little bit of damage from them. Obviously, you don't want to sit in front of them for too long, but they're very survivable. There you are. If you've got a cycle through hostiles button bound on your keyboard, or if you've got joysticks, it's a quick way of cycling through, you know, the enemies in the area, figuring out which one is the most dangerous. There we go. And taking them out. So yeah, a couple minutes there, and you can knock that out. About 49,000 Alpha UC or so. It's not going to get you to 1 million quickly, but it's relatively easy and beatable. So, alright, so that was level 3. Let's go ahead and find it number 4 here. Interesting, it's gone and disappeared. 2, 3. That's very strange. We may need to pop back to Hurston here. A lot of missions. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll pop back to Hurston and make sure that we're within comms range. And it should reload all of these missions and just make sure that they're all available for us to take. There we go. We'll give this a couple seconds to re-establish contact. There we go. Lots of missions around here, so I might very well be sticking around this area and doing a couple of those. Alright, there we go, number 4. So this one is going to be with some stealth players. Or stealth NPCs, it's not players. But basically going to teach us how to use the ping function, or the exactly what the ping function does. That one's on the other side of the planet, so I'm going to have to pop around here quickly. Jump out to the OMs here. They've kind of changed up the way that quantum travel works, so it's easier just to pop up to the OMs out of planetary orbit. I guess technically these are orbital markers. But instead of, sitting right next to the planet where all of the little planetary location markers appear, you'll go up to the orbital markers and those will show you, more of the space-based areas and eliminate all the clutter from the planet. Okay, so we've reached our location here.
Okay, you're in the right place. Stand by while I deploy your targets.
And you go ahead and swap over to SCM mode. Very important to do that if you're just new to the game. You'll press B.
Contact. Radio.
You can just hit tab to ping like this.
Okay.
And there they are. So we've got one, it looks like a raft. And then we've got a couple of Misk Razors. Now these are very light, but they're also very fast and very maneuverable. So you'll want to focus on taking them down. The Razors generally come stock with a pair of shotguns, funnily enough. So they've got to get close to really do any serious damage to you. So if you can keep them at range and just kind of pepper them with some shots, that ensures that you don't take a whole lot of damage from them. That's a mole actually, not a raft. We do have another. What happened there? There we go. We do have another Razor, and that's the ping function. You'll just hit tab on that to do a ping scan. These things can disappear from radar relatively easy because they're very small. They've got a very, very small cross section, and they have stealth components, so they can disappear from radar really, really quickly. Out at like 1.2 kilometers, and they effectively disappear from the radar. So pinging for them is sometimes necessary to find them again. Make sure that they're eliminated. The moles are relatively easy to take down with the starter ship. They just take a long time. They're very, very tanky. And they hold up relatively well to laser fire, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit this thing with some ballistics. As you can see, it's still very much alive and well. Now he's decided it might be time to get out of his little circle orbit here. Back to those. You can. There we go. Perfect. That was a lot of ballistic ammo. All right, so that's the first 4 knocked out. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 5. So the first 4, like I said, those are relatively easy. They can all be done with a solo ship. And really a starter, in my opinion, would be more than enough to take those out.
Take things up a level, because I got all my pilots locked and loaded with some heavy ordnance for today's lesson. That's right. They're going to be launching missiles at you, and you're going to be firing your countermeasures right back. Make sure your ship's stocked up, and report to the training site.
Alright, so we'll pop over to the training location here and get started. Missiles and countermeasures can only be launched when you're in SCM mode. So if you're ever under fire from missiles, the first thing you want to do is hit B and make sure that you swap back over to nav mode. It's a hold B to swap. And so now that you're in SCM mode, I am using the advanced HUD. I'll go ahead and walk you through how to switch between that. Let's see here, configurator, there you go. And you go to HUD, and then you can go to, there you go. So this would be your standard HUD. I recommend always swapping over to SCM HUD. There we go, advanced. So it just has a lot more information available for you to see. This is where your noise and decoys are going to be. At least in the advanced HUD here, and this decoy number here is how many flares you'll be launching with each press of the button, which I believe is J. Nope, that's noise. So H. Yeah, H is your decoy. So you'll hit that to drop heat flares essentially, and it helps to confuse inbound missiles. You can increase that number by holding down your right alt and tapping H, and that'll increase it by 1. Or you can hold left alt and tap H to decrease it back down again. For this one, they're NPC missiles. You're probably good with just increasing that to 2, or in the case of a medium fighter, it increments by 2, so 4 would be more than enough.
Welcome to the training site. Get settled, and I'll let everyone know to start.
Go ahead and swap this back to my target status. There we go.
Hostiles spotted. Give them what you got.
Okay.
Alright, so we've got one of the MISC ships. This one looks like it's probably a freelancer. I'm just going to do a bit of a corkscrew here to avoid their fire on the way in. Until we get close. There we go. And then we'll pop around behind them. These ones are nice as long as you stay kind of relatively high on them.
Wait, here comes the next.
You really don't have to worry about taking too much turret fire because their turrets can't elevate. The one on the back there can't elevate high enough to hit you, as long as you're staying like riding back on top of them. So we've got another one. We're going to focus on the military ships here. This one's probably the one that's actually going to be firing a decent number of the missiles. That's a Saber. So we'll leave that one up for right now. Oops, hang on. There we go. We'll swap back to this one and take this one out. And that'll hopefully give the Saber a chance to launch some missiles at us, and we'll show you kind of countermeasure deployment on that one. The Sentinels are definitely something that you'll want to be careful of. They have size 5 weapons, I believe, and that turret has got some EMP, or not EMP, sorry, but distortion weapons. And so you'll want to be careful of those. Still haven't gotten any countermeasures, interesting, or not countermeasures, any missiles, interestingly enough. Juke a little bit and dodge that fire from the Saber behind us. There we go, I'll take that out. That one's the dead one, yep, alright. So it doesn't look like we're actually going to get any missiles from this one. You've got to watch out for these little diamond ships, especially when they're flown by players. They tend to launch a lot of missiles. There we go. All right, so no countermeasure display really, but you'll get a little beeping, kind of right in the center of your screen here with your inbound missile warning. You'll just hit your flares there, like so, and that will deploy these kind of burning flare things. Pop out here, and we'll take a look here so that you can see kind of the effect that they have. There you go, just flares, and they pop out the back and kind of burn brightly, help to distract versus your engine flares, versus your engine heat signature. Let's see here, we're at 28 minutes today, so we've knocked out the first 5. I'm going to leave that here for today's video. But at this point you will have unlocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 be completed, there we go. And you'll have unlocked number 6. We'll go down and have a little sneak peek at that one. There we go, number 6. Alright, so this one is going to be going up against some larger ships. There's a constellation that spawns on this one, which is soloable, but they can put out a decent amount of damage really quickly. So you'll want to make sure that you are not getting in the front of that one, and their turrets are working pretty well now as well. So you'll have to be careful of getting within range of those. It's really kind of tricky to take them down. I wouldn't recommend going up against them in a starter ship, especially if you're new to the game. But they are soloable, especially if you've got something a little bit more combat capable, a medium fighter or something like that. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. If this is something that you've found helpful or have enjoyed, do me a favor and go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. And stay tuned, I'll be putting out a couple more videos here in the future for combat scenarios number 6, 7, and hopefully 8. That one's definitely going to need some help on that one though, so we'll have to do that when we've got some buddies that can get on it and let's take that down. Thank you all for watching. take care, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta.